The ranking member on Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa, has described a senseless, offensive and discriminatory Emirates indefinite suspension on the flights from Ghana to Dubai. He's calling on President Akufo-Addo and other African leaders to boycott the ongoing Dubai Expo in retaliation to the announced suspension. We'll bring you details of his post shortly, but first, here's the urgent broadcast Emirates sent to its partners on Tuesday, December 28, 2021. Let's now look at the Facebook post by the ranking member on the Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, who is also the MP for Norton, Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa. Mr. Ablakwa is essentially urging the government, President Akufo-Addo, to boycott the Expo, Dubai Expo, which is happening in Dubai as a result of this action by Emirates. Remember that Emirates is owned by the UAE. So he says Emirates travel ban imposed on selected African countries, including Ghana, effective today, 28 December. So this was yesterday, 2021, is by a mile the most discriminatory, offensive, senseless, and retrogressive step. Ghana, Angola, Guinea, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Cote d'Ivoire, and Ethiopia do not have any active case count and hospitalization anywhere near that of France, UK, Italy, USA, and India, whose citizens are now allowed, rightly so, if I may add, to still travel to and transit through Dubai. The other nauseating irony is that daily active cases in the UAE have now crossed 1,800, far higher than Ghana's 1,264 new cases, and yet UAE citizens can travel to Ghana, whereas Ghanaians cannot travel to the UAE. Well, he's been speaking to Joy News, explaining why government must retaliate this decision by the UAE.
This ban is one of the most incendiary, the most discriminatory that you can imagine and you can find anywhere. This is because Emirates did not even consider it necessary to give its travelers some period of time. Other bans or travel restrictions that we have observed since COVID broke, at least clientele was showed some respect, given some few days a week or 2 weeks, for you to get yourself prepared for what is coming. For this, Emirates just put out a travel advisory and said that it takes immediate effect. As I speak to you, you have stranded passengers who have made arrangements, they have bought their tickets, they have paid hotel bills, arrangements have been made for their pickup, and you leave them in limbo like this. And the most nauseating part, MFA, is that this is so discriminatory, you just cannot imagine.
So that's the Member of Parliament for Norton and the ranking on the Foreign Affairs Committee. Joining us now is the Chief Executive of Adanse Travels and Tours, Gideon Asare. Mr. Asare, thank you for joining us here on Joy News Prime. For players in the tourism industry, this is a peak season for you, having suffered from COVID. I'm sure many of you are hoping that you can recover from the losses you've made. How does this development come to you?
Yes, Ernest, this is very devastating for us, for all the players in the industry, and even more devastating for our cherished clients who have made plans to make a trip. Most of the clients might have engaged us for almost a year to plan their holiday or for their business travels for December and January. And for them to have gone through all the arrangements, all the hassle to find the money to pay, and also to take leave from work, and for us as agents on the other side to also put all our resources into the planning to ensure their tickets, their hotels, their tour itinerary, everything they need for them to embark on the journey already done. And for us to be faced with such a ban, it's really devastating and very worrying.
Have you made any attempts to reach out to Emirates to find out why this is being done? And even though it says it's indefinite, is there an inkling? Do you have any suggestion on when this might be lifted, possibly?
Yeah, so you realize that the ban is actually coming from Emirates State as a country, UAE as a country, not necessarily the airline.
Yes,
so,
that is right.
Of course, the airline, the carrier, that will take the people there. And so from my conversation with the airline, the news was they're also as shocked as we are. And so there were no kind of, they didn't have any pre-information about this ban. And so they are also as shocked as we are. And as of now, no one knows when clearly they are going to open or lift the ban. And that puts the customers or the clients in a limbo because we don't know what to do. The passengers become very confused as to should they hold on, wait, or should they make other arrangements? The loss is huge on their side as well.
Give us a fair idea of how much you're losing as a business.
Okay, so let me take Adansi Travels as an example. So for us, we have 3 big groups that is amounting to about 150 passengers that are scheduled to travel. The first group was scheduled to leave on Monday, the past Monday. The other groups are scheduled to leave on the 5th and on the 6th. Together, they are about 150. And let's say the average cost of their vacation is 10,000 cedis. That gives about 1.5 million Ghana cedis. So just for these 3 groups, the economic effect on the ban for just 3 of our groups is about 1.5 million Ghana cedis. So that gives you a fair idea. And just multiply that by tens of other agents who are also having groups and individual passengers who have booked their travel to Dubai. So it's not only about the flight, but for you to travel, you make several arrangements. So there are COVID tests, there are hotels, there are airport pickup. All these arrangements are already done. So if you put it in that perspective, you can see that it's a huge economic loss to us and to our customers and to the nation as well.
What are your clients saying? Do you have some coming in already demanding a refund, or they're willing to wait to see what happens?
I mean, if you put yourself in their shoes, what will you do? Of course, we've had from Monday to now, we can detect from my voice, it's not been easy to deal with responses for about 150 passengers. People are calling you, calling us, calling our offices. Some are demanding refunds. Some are also asking when they can travel. I mean, it's very clear dealing with them that most of them are not really looking at the money side, but they are really keen in ensuring that they go for the deserved holiday that they have planned for. Because they have, apart from the economic side, they have made so much sacrifices in terms of their leave days and maybe push other obligations somewhere. They're really keen in making the trip, especially those traveling with family. I mean, you can imagine how your children they will be able to understand some of these demands. So it is very worrying, and we've been having hard time dealing with the customers with this.
I can imagine. Now, Mr. Asare, just because of time, the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee of Parliament is asking government to take tough measures. For you as a business and for the association, are you willing to use, state channels, appeal to government to try and resolve this issue?
Yes. So for us, we think that, there should be a dialogue to really understand what really is the cause of the ban. Because as of now, we were not communicated to with the actual cause. Whatever we know is rumors. But I'm sure that the ban will not come out of vacuum. So we will appeal that the state engage each other. UAE and Ghana have enjoyed good bilateral relations, so I'm sure that they'll be able to engage each other and really resolve whatever the cause is, so that private businesses like ours and also Ghanaians who are hoping to have their vacation can really embark on their trips.
Thank you for your time. That's Gideon Asare, he's CEO of Adansi Travel and Tours.